Do you remember the first time you witnessed something on screen that truly disturbed you? Something that made you question not just what you were watching, but what it meant to be human? In 1971, director Stanley Kubrick unleashed upon the world a film so controversial, so viscerally shocking, that it would be banned in several countries and voluntarily withdrawn from British cinemas by Kubrick himself. That film was A Clockwork Orange, based on Anthony Burgess's dystopian novel. This masterpiece emerged during an era of social upheaval and artistic revolution. Upon its release, it immediately sparked fierce debates about violence, free will, and the very nature of humanity. The film's unflinching portrayal of a violent future Britain, told through the eyes of the charismatic yet monstrous Alex DeLarge, left audiences both mesmerized and horrified. It received 4 Academy Award nominations and has since been recognized as one of the greatest films ever made. Beyond its controversial subject matter and Kubrick's visionary direction, A Clockwork Orange assembled a remarkable cast. Malcolm McDowell delivered a career-defining performance as Alex, supported by Magee as the vengeful writer Mr. Alexander, Anthony Sharp as the calculating Minister of the Interior, and Warren Clark as the brutish Dim. Each actor contributed to creating characters that would haunt viewers' memories for decades. Now, over 50 years have passed since audiences first heard the haunting strains of Singin' in the Rain twisted into something sinister. The world has changed dramatically, and so too have the lives of those who brought this controversial masterpiece to the screen. Some found enduring fame. Others faded into obscurity. There were triumphs and tragedies, unexpected comebacks, and heartbreaking losses. What happened to the young actors who portrayed the violent droogs? How did stepping into such dark roles affect their lives and careers? And where are they now? In 2025, more than half a century after the film that defined a generation's understanding of cinematic transgression, join us as we journey back to 1971, then forward to 2025, to discover the remarkable, sometimes tragic, and always fascinating stories of the cast of A Clockwork Orange. From Hollywood success to personal struggles and redemption, their stories are as compelling as the film itself. Remember that chilling smile? Those piercing blue eyes staring directly into the camera as Alex welcomes us into his world of ultraviolence? Malcolm McDowell's performance wasn't just acting. It was a fearless dive into humanity's darkest corners. At 27, Malcolm McDowell was a rising British actor with striking good looks and dangerous intensity. He'd caught attention in Lindsay Anderson's If 1968, playing a rebellious schoolboy. But nothing prepared audiences for Alex DeLarge. Kubrick didn't just cast McDowell, he made him a creative partner. The actor suggested singing Singin' in the Rain during the brutal home invasion, creating one of cinema's most disturbing moments. The role demanded everything. McDowell suffered cracked ribs, nearly drowned during filming, and endured the infamous eye clamp scenes that actually damaged his cornea. But the physical pain paid off. The film catapulted him to international stardom overnight. Post-Clockwork, McDowell became one of the 1972's most sought-after actors. He reunited with Anderson for Oh Lucky Man, 1973, and Britannia Hospital, 1982. He played H.G. Wells in Time After Time, 1979, and starred in the notorious Caligula, 1979. While some films succeeded and others flopped, McDowell established himself as an actor willing to take risks and push boundaries. At 81, Malcolm McDowell proves that true stars never fade, they just evolve. His once dark hair is now distinguished white, and those piercing blue eyes carry the wisdom of 5 decades in the industry. But make no mistake, he's far from retired. McDowell has appeared in over 200 films and television shows, constantly reinventing himself. New generations discovered him as the villainous Dr. Loomis in Rob Zombie's Halloween remakes, as Linderman in the hit series Heroes, and through voice work in video games like Fallout 3 and animated series. He's worked with everyone from Woody Allen to the directors of B-movies, never letting ego dictate his choices. His personal life found stability after early turbulence, married 3 times. He's been with his wife Kelly Kaur since 1991, and together they have 5 children. In interviews, McDowell speaks candidly about A Clockwork Orange, never running from its controversial legacy. He defends Kubrick's vision while acknowledging the film's impact. Today, he's a beloved figure at film festivals and comic conventions, where fans line up for hours to meet the man behind Alex DeLarge. He approaches these encounters with genuine warmth and self-deprecating humor, often joking about being forever associated with a bit of the old ultra-violence. Recent projects like The Kindred, 2021, prove he's still working, still choosing interesting roles, still the Malcolm McDowell who fearlessly sang in the rain while committing fictional atrocities. If McDowell represented youth's savage energy, Patrick Magee embodied the intellectual's descent into madness. Remember his wheelchair-bound writer, his face contorted in horror and rage, screaming, it's him," upon recognizing his tormentor? Born in 1922, Patrick Magee was 49 when he brought Mr. Alexander to terrifying life. The Northern Irish actor arrived on set with decades of distinguished theatrical work behind him. He'd collaborated with Harold Pinter and Samuel Beckett, performed on London's most prestigious stages, and developed a reputation for intense, cerebral performances. Before Clockwork, Magee had built a solid career in British cinema, often playing authority figures, intellectuals, or sinister characters. His gaunt features, burning eyes, and powerful voice made him unforgettable. He'd appeared in horror films like The Skull, 1965, and Die, Die, My Darling, 1965. Establishing himself in the genre, Kubrick specifically expanded Mr. Alexander's role from Burgess's novel with Magee in mind. The director knew Magee could portray a man broken by violence who transforms into something equally monstrous in his quest for revenge. Watch the dinner party scene again. Magee's subtle facial changes as recognition dawns. The way his voice shifts from jovial to suspicious to horrified, building to that explosive moment of realization. It's acting at its finest. After Clockwork, Magee continued working steadily in British film and television. He appeared in Demons of the Mind, 1972, The Black Cat, 1981, and episodes of Tales of the Unexpected. He balanced commercial work with his first love, theater, regularly returning to the stage. On August 14, 1982, Patrick Magee's heart gave out. He was just 60 years old, still working, still passionate about his craft. The heart attack that took him came suddenly, robbing cinema of a unique talent who bridged classical theater and modern film. Those who knew him remembered a man deeply committed to his art, intellectual, and intensely private. In his final years, he'd balanced film work with stage performances, never losing his love for live theater. His death was mourned quietly in the British acting community. He was a professional's professional, respected by all who worked with him, though he left us far too soon. Patrick Magee's Mr. Alexander endures as one of A Clockwork Orange's most powerful performances. He showed us that victims can become victimizers, that the desire for vengeance can corrupt even the most cultured mind. In the darkness of that dystopian future, Magee's performance burns as bright as ever, a reminder that great acting transcends time. From personal vengeance, we move to something colder: institutional evil. Anthony Sharp's Minister of the Interior smiled while turning human beings into political pawns. Born in 1915, Anthony Sharp was 56 when he portrayed the government official who saw Alex not as a person but as an opportunity. Sharp had spent decades perfecting the art of playing establishment figures, men who spoke in measured, reasonable tones, while executing ruthless agendas. A veteran of British stage and screen, Sharp brought decades of experience to the role. His minister is terrifyingly plausible, well-dressed, articulate, concerned with public perception and political advantage above all else. He doesn't rage or threaten. He simply explains, in that calm voice, how Alex will be reformed for the greater good. Sharp made us understand that institutional violence, dressed in a suit and tie, can be more insidious than street crime. Watch his scenes carefully. The way he poses for photographs with the cured Alex, the calculated compassion in his voice when Alex becomes politically inconvenient, the smooth pivot when circumstances change. Sharp showed us a man for whom human suffering is merely a variable in political equations. Following A Clockwork Orange, Sharp continued his steady career in British television and film. He appeared in Doctor Who, various crime dramas, and costume pieces throughout the 1970 seconds and early 1980 seconds. He was the reliable character actor every production needed: professional, skilled, always delivering exactly what was required. Anthony Sharp passed away on July 23, 1984, at the age of 69. His career had spanned theater, film, and the golden age of British television. While he played countless roles, A Clockwork Orange remains his most internationally recognized work. He left behind a legacy of understated menace, of making audiences question those who wield power in the name of public good. His minister stands as a perfect example of Hannah Arendt's banality of evil, the bureaucrat who commits atrocities with a smile and a press release. Though he's been gone for over 40 years, Sharp's performance reminds us that the most dangerous villains often wear respectable faces, from governmental power to its street-level failure. Remember P.R. Deltoid, the sweating, desperate social worker trying to control the uncontrollable Alex? At 47, Aubrey Morris brought nervous energy and dark comedy to the role of Alex's post-corrective advisor. Morris was a character actor who specialized in quirky, eccentric roles, and Deltoid is perfect for his talents, a man who knows he's failing but keeps trying anyway. Born in 1926, Morris had worked extensively in British theatre and television before Clockwork. His Deltoid is both pathetic and somewhat sympathetic. He lectures Alex about staying out of trouble, but there's a desperation in his eyes. He knows the system he represents is broken, knows he can't actually help anyone, yet he goes through the motions. Morris played him with sweaty intensity, creating a character who represents society's failed attempt at rehabilitation before Alex's crime spree. After Clockwork, Morris found consistent work in both British and American productions. He appeared in The Wicker Man, 1973, Mel Brooks's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes's Smarter Brother, 1975, and various TV shows. His specialty remained oddball characters who added color to productions. Aubrey Morris passed away on July 15, 2015. At the age of 89, he'd lived a long life, working steadily until his later years. Though never achieving major stardom, his later career included appearances in Lace, 1984, Dynasty, and other television productions through the 1980 seconds and 1990 seconds. By the time of his death, Morris had largely faded from public view. Known primarily to film buffs who appreciated his contribution to cult classics, his deltoid remains a memorable part of A Clockwork Orange, a reminder that good intentions without power are meaningless, and that society's safety nets often have gaping holes. If deltoid represented failed conventional reform, Dr. Brodsky embodied something far more sinister: science without conscience. At 55, German-born Karl Deuering brought chilling detachment to the role of the scientist who runs the Ludovico treatment. Deuering, born in 1923, had fled Nazi Germany as a child, making his portrayal of a doctor conducting dehumanizing experiments particularly resonant. Deuering had built a solid career in British film and television, often playing foreigners, officials, or authority figures. His Dr. Brodsky shows no moral qualms about his work to him. Alex is a subject. The treatment is an experiment, and success is measured purely in behavioral outcomes. He explains the procedure in flat, technical terms, unmoved by Alex's suffering. The actor's own background added layers to the performance. Having escaped fascism, Deuering understood how easily science could be corrupted by those in power. His Brodsky is a warning. The white coat doesn't guarantee morality. After Clockwork, Deuering continued working in British television and film, appearing in shows like The Saint and various productions through the 1970 seconds. He specialized in playing Europeans in British productions, lending authenticity to international characters. Karl Deuering died on May 1, 2018. At the age of 89 inches, his home in England, he'd lived a long life. Though much of it away from the spotlight, his later years were spent in quiet retirement, and his death was barely noted in the press. Yet his Dr. Brodsky endures as a chilling portrait of scientific amorality, the researcher who asks, can we, without considering should we, in an age of increasing technological power. Deuering's performance remains disturbingly relevant. Among all the moral corruption and violence, one voice asked the essential question: remember the prison chaplain, challenging the very premise of the Ludovico treatment. When a man cannot choose, he ceases to be a man. At 46, Irish actor Godfrey Quigley brought unexpected depth to what could have been a minor role. Born in 1923, Quigley was an accomplished stage and screen actor who understood that the chaplain was the film's conscience, the only character who grasps the profound moral problem at the heart of the story. Quigley had worked extensively in Irish and British theatre before moving into film. His chaplain isn't a caricature but a thoughtful man genuinely troubled by what he sees. When he questions whether removing Alex's ability to choose between good and evil actually removes his humanity, Quigley delivers the line with quiet conviction. It's the film's central philosophical argument, and Quigley makes us feel its weight. After Clockwork, Quigley continued working in Irish and British productions. He appeared in Educating Rita, 1983, and numerous television shows, often playing priests. teachers, or other moral authorities. He became a respected figure in Irish acting circles. Godfrey Quigley died on September 7, 1994, at the age of 71 inches Dublin. He'd returned to Ireland in his later years, continuing to work in theatre and television. His death was mourned in the Irish acting community, where he was remembered for his intelligence, professionalism, and warmth. His chaplain remains crucial to A Clockwork Orange, the voice that articulates what makes the film more than just shocking imagery. Through Quigley's performance, we understand that free will, even to do evil, is essential to humanity. It's a performance of quiet power in a film of loud violence. From the film's conscience, we return to its brutal streets. Warren Clarke's Dim was the muscle of Alex's gang, loyal, stupid, and ultimately the one who brings Alex down. At just 24, Warren Clarke brought imposing physicality to Dim, the largest and dumbest of the Droogs. Born in 1947, Clarke was a young actor making his film debut. And what a debut it was. His Dim is simultaneously threatening and pathetic, powerful enough to terrify, but too stupid to think for himself. Watch Clarke's performance, the way Dim laughs at violence, his puppy-like loyalty to Alex, his childish resentment when mocked. Clarke made Dim more than a thug. He's a reminder that many who commit violence are themselves victims of circumstance and limited options. The role could have typecast Clarke as a heavy, but he proved far more versatile. Through the 1,970 seconds and beyond, he built an impressive career in British television and film. He appeared in Oh Lucky Man, 1973, alongside McDowell, Firefox, 1982, with Clint Eastwood, and found his greatest success in the TV series Dalziel and Pascoe, 1996 to 2007, where he played Detective Superintendent Andy Dalziel for over a decade. Warren Clarke passed away on November 12, 2014, at the age of 67. The cause was never publicly disclosed, but his death shocked colleagues and fans. By then, he'd become a beloved figure in British television, known for playing working-class characters with humanity and depth. His career arc is remarkable. From playing the brutish Dim to becoming one of British TV's most reliable and respected character actors, Clarke proved that early roles don't define you. Talent and persistence do. He's remembered not just for Dim, but for a career that demonstrated range, professionalism, and genuine acting skill. The young thug who betrayed Alex became, in real life, a man who earned respect and admiration throughout the industry. Dim was the muscle, but Georgie was the ambition. Remember his challenge to Alex's leadership? His calculating eyes planning rebellion? At 25, James Marcus played Georgie with sly intelligence. Born in 1942, Marcus made Georgie the most dangerous kind of subordinate, the one who thinks he's smarter than his boss. His Georgie questions Alex's leadership, suggests something big, and represents the inevitable fracturing of criminal alliances built on violence. Marcus gave Georgie a weaselly quality. He's always watching, always calculating. When Alex asserts dominance with violence, you can see Georgie filing that humiliation away for future payback. It's a subtle performance that foreshadows Alex's eventual betrayal. After A Clockwork Orange, Marcus's career followed an unusual path. He appeared in a few more films and TV shows in the 1,970 seconds, but gradually moved away from acting. Unlike some of his castmates, he didn't pursue a long career in the spotlight. James Marcus is now 82 years old and has lived most of his adult life away from acting. After his brief time in film, he largely disappeared from public view, choosing a quieter life outside the entertainment industry. There's little public information about his later years. No scandals, no comebacks, no tragic endings. Sometimes that's its own kind of success. Having been part of something legendary, then choosing to live life on your own terms. Away from cameras and press attention, Marcus's Georgie remains a sharp piece of A Clockwork Orange's puzzle. But the man himself found peace in privacy. Among the droogs and government officials, one character represents pure victimhood, the cat lady, or Mrs. Alexander, whose encounter with Alex changes everything. At 41, Scottish actress Adrienne Corey took on the challenging role of the eccentric, health-obsessed woman whose assault and death sets the film's plot in motion. Born in 1930, Corey was an experienced actress who'd worked in British cinema since the 1940 seconds, appearing in films like The River, 1951, and The Vikings, 1958. Her performance is deliberately over the top, the garish wig, the bizarre artwork, the yoga poses making her both comic and tragic. The scene is brutal and difficult to watch, and Corey committed to it fully, understanding that her character's fate drives everything that follows. It's a brave performance in an extremely uncomfortable sequence. Corey continued working steadily after Clockwork. She appeared in numerous British TV shows and films, including Moon 02, 1969, and various television series through the 1980 seconds. She became known for playing strong-willed, eccentric characters. Adrienne Corey passed away on March 13, 2016, at the age of 85 inches London. She'd continued acting into her 70s, appearing in productions until 2001. In her later years, she lived quietly in London, occasionally doing interviews about her long career. She rarely spoke about A Clockwork Orange, finding the attention on that one difficult scene overshadowed her decades of other work. When she did discuss it, she was professional but clear that it was just one role among many. Corey left behind a substantial body of work spanning 6 decades, though she'll forever be remembered for that devastating scene that changed Alex's life forever. Finally, we come to Dr. Freshen Branham, the assistant to Dr. Blank's Brodsky, representing what happens when medical professionals become complicit in dehumanization. At 57, Australian actress Madge Ryan brought a disturbing cheerfulness to Dr. Dagdees Branham. Born in 1919, Ryan had built her career playing matronly figures, nurses, and supportive characters. Her Branham maintains a pleasant, professional demeanor while participating in Alex's psychological torture. Ryan made interesting choices with the role. Dr. Branham speaks kindly to Alex, explains things patiently, even seems concerned, but she never questions what they're doing. She's the banality of evil in a different form, the assistant who just does her job, who tells herself she's helping, who never confronts the moral horror of the work. After Clockwork, Ryan continued her steady career in British film and television, appearing in shows like Fawlty Towers and various other productions. She specialized in playing authority figures and maternal characters. Madge Ryan died on January 9, 1994, at the age of 74 inches London. She'd worked consistently until near the end of her life. Respected in the industry as a reliable professional, her death was noted in British theatre circles, where she'd also maintained a presence throughout her career. Her doctor. Branham remains a crucial piece of the film's critique. She shows how ordinary people, through willful blindness and professional detachment, enable extraordinary evil. Ryan played her without obvious malice, making the character all the more disturbing, a reminder that monsters rarely look like monsters. And so we reach the end of our journey through time. From 1971, when a group of actors stepped onto Stanley Kubrick's set to create something that would shock the world, to 2025, where we find some still working, others long departed, and all forever linked to one of cinema's most controversial masterpieces. The cast of A Clockwork Orange experienced everything that 50 years in this industry can bring. Malcolm McDowell rode the film to stardom and built a career of remarkable longevity. Still working at 81, Warren Clarke transformed from brutish thug to beloved television star before his untimely death. Some, like James Marcus, chose to step away from the spotlight entirely. Others, like Patrick Magee, Godfrey Quigley, and Adrian Corey, continued working steadily until their time came, leaving behind rich legacies that extended far beyond one controversial film. What strikes most powerfully is how differently time treated each of them. Some found the film to be a launching pad to greater things. For others, it remained their most famous work, a double-edged sword that brought recognition but sometimes overshadowed everything else they accomplished. Some embraced the association, others found it uncomfortable, even burdensome. Yet all of them contributed to something that transcended their individual careers. A Clockwork Orange remains as provocative, disturbing, and relevant today as it was in 1971. The questions it raises about free will, institutional control, violence, and what it means to be human haven't been answered, if anything. They've become more urgent. Every actor, from McDowell's fearless Alex to Ryan's enabling Dr. Branham, helped create a work of art that forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our society. Looking at these actors' journeys, their triumphs and struggles, their long careers and early deaths, their moments in the sun and years in shadow, we're reminded that behind every iconic film are real people living real lives. They age, they struggle, they succeed and fail, they love and lose, and eventually, they leave us. But the work remains. In 2025, when we watch A Clockwork Orange, we're not just seeing a dystopian future imagined in 1971, we're seeing Malcolm McDowell at 27, full of dangerous energy. We're seeing Patrick Magee bringing decades of theatrical experience to a moment of pure cinematic rage. We're seeing young Warren Clarke, Anthony Sharp, Aubrey Morris, and all the others, frozen in time at a specific moment of their lives, doing work that would outlive them all. Time is cruel. It takes our youth, our health, and eventually our lives. The Hollywood lights that once shone so brightly dim and fade, but cinema is forever. These actors gave us performances that will exist as long as people watch movies. Whether they're still working at 81 or resting in peace, whether they found continued success or quiet retirement, they're all part of something immortal. That's the strange magic of film. It defeats time. And that's why, 50 years later, we still talk about them, still watch them, still remember, because through their work, they live forever young, forever powerful, forever part of our collective memory, and that, perhaps, is Hollywood's greatest gift. not fame, not fortune, but immortality through art,